Because I really think that childhood is the best part of a human's life. So that's why I want to bring it back every day.
Loes van Delft might be one of the most famous young Dutch artists out there. Her art is a unique blend of surrealism, pop, and street art, and most of the time involves her character Pipja. In 2024, she displayed her art at the prestigious Tres Art Gallery in Breda, a city located in the southern part of the Netherlands. In this exclusive chat, Loes explains more about the collection, which was specially made for this show.
It's called Springtime Magic, and I wanted to create some works which are super colorful, flowers, girly, like a lot of power in there. If you look at my work, I think in general it is actually very girly and flowerish. And I think that's important to bring some kindness, some happiness into people's lives, and that's what I do with my art.
I contacted Loes and we clicked. We had a click, and I bought some pieces. And because I'm a buy gallery, I like to buy. I want to have it, you know. And we kept in contact. At one time, she said, "Well, I want to bring a new art book for my birthday, and it will be a very special book." And I like also artists who invest in their career. That's a special capacity I like also about artists. So I said, well, maybe we can do the introduction of the art book here. And she said, well, that's nice because she's so enthusiastic. I said, well, maybe we do a solo with you. But it was 3 months before the date we wanted to do. And at that point, the artist has to work because we as a gallery want to show pieces that are not shown yet. So that's a commitment you take with each other. You work ahead for months, and you have contact, and how is it going to do with publicity, and it's a business, of course.
Usually an artist wants to invoke a certain feeling in people when looking at their art, but for Loes, that's not the case.
I think when you look at my art, it's not that there is a very difficult story behind it. Like, hey, this means this. I think you ruin magic with creating art that has a difficult story behind it. I think it's more important to bring a feeling when people look at the paintings, when people look at the drawings, at the sculptures, that it brings up a feeling. And I think it's the biggest compliment ever that people will say, hey, your art makes me happy and it brings me back to my childhood. And that's my goal, I think, because the world is so serious and there is so much bad stuff going on.
Even though Van Delft is a famous artist now, the road to getting there was bumpy, and school wasn't the inspiration it could have been.
I did go to St. Lucas in the Netherlands, which was back in the days the best art school in the country. And they didn't understand what I was creating. I was always the odd, the weird kid, and they didn't understand my character because I created my own character, Pipja, already back then. And they said, you're never gonna make it in the world because you just don't understand it, and you have to draw realistic hands and realistic fruit. And I was like, okay, but how cool is it to create your own art, and which doesn't really exist? That's what triggers me, and not what already existing. I never really understood it, and they never understood me.
Some artists specialize in just canvas works or one other medium, but Van Delft doesn't like to limit herself that way.
Recently I got a commission by a very big art collector. I was super honored by this request to paint an old school car. Like, yeah, it was really, it was a Da Vinci car, and it was like super big, and I was like, oh my God, with all the round shapes and the organic shapes, can I do it? But it turned out super nice, and it was one of the biggest, not the biggest, but it was just one of the nicest projects, because I was like, oh, can I do it? And then it was finished, and he came into my studio and he was like, wow, you nailed it, you did it. And I love doing this. Yeah, I love making art of all kind of objects, and that's the coolest thing, I think.
Speaking of making art on all kinds of surfaces, Loes has also created some pieces in collaboration with famous celebrities.
I do love to paint jackets. because I love to see my art everywhere. And of course, how cool is it if you can wear a jacket with my art? And that's why I don't want to limit myself. I've never been wanting limited myself. I just want to create art on everything. I'm creating a jacket for J Balvin, together with him actually. Just, yeah, on Instagram we texted each other and he said, I love your art. And it was a very smooth process with him. And Ruby Rose has a jacket of mine. Yeah, so that's a cool thing. Not everyone has space in their house for a painting or a sculpture.
Loes also has some advice for the next generation of artists and painters.
My tip for young people who create is like, listen to your soul. Like the heart knows. And other people, they have their opinion always, but just keep creating, keep believing in yourself and find that magic because it's out there. And of course, people will always have their opinion. It's beautiful, it's not beautiful, it's good, it's not good. Just do your thing and work for it and believe in it, and then you will get there.
Van Delft artworks can be found all around the world. For example, in Taiwan, the US, all over Europe, and even in China, and of course also in her homeland of the Netherlands. We see a bright future ahead for Loes van Delft and can't wait to find out what it holds.